Hello! So, I thought I'd do another video similar to my Canon XS2 video, which for some reason has gone down stupidly well. I think we're somewhere over 8,000 views at the moment, and I have no idea why, because it is an utterly terrible video, but I'll link it at the end so you can go have a watch if you really want to. On to this, the YASHICA Mat 124G. I picked this up around 2 weeks ago. I saw it on the Facebook marketplace, listed for £50, and so I thought 50 quid for a YASHICA. The guy didn't know anything about cameras, so didn't know if it was working or anything like that. Took a drive over, and it wasn't working. Now, admittedly, I made a mistake when I got this. I couldn't change the shutter speed from bulb, and I said, well, you know, this kind of makes the camera useless. I can't take photos. So I offered him 20 quid, and he took it, which was great. And then I realized when I got home that in order to change the f-stop, you need to actually wind the camera on. So I thought, okay, I've clearly made a mistake. I'll PayPal the guy another 20 quid, you know, just make it right. But it turns out I still couldn't take a photo anyway. Somebody had messed with the self-timer button down here, and it was locked. So I called up some chap who apparently had been running a family business since 1989 in camera repair. And he told me that I'd bought myself a very nice paperweight. It would cost him so much to fix it that it's just not worth it, and so I should just be happy that I have a very nice looking object and leave it there. And so I thought, well, you know, I can't break it anymore, so I may as well have a go. And I sprayed it with WD-40, which I felt really weird about doing, and it didn't work. And after a few days, I kind of got a bit peeved at this, and I took a pair of pliers and I just moved this button back with quite a bit of force. And to my complete shock and amazement, the camera fired. And I was like, okay, wow, that's incredible. I now have a working camera, which I've absolutely destroyed with copious amounts of lubricating oil, which was slightly demoralizing. So I then took the camera apart. I've never done that. I own one TLR, and it's a Lubitel, which I really just bought for actually sticking on a shelf. So I've never taken one apart, and I have zero experience with this kind of thing. But I took it apart. I rinsed the entire thing in methylated spirits, cleaned it all off with soap and water. The entire thing. Forgot to take the battery out, which lives just here for the light meter on the top here, and thought, okay, well, I've ruined that. Not the end of the world, because I can just get one on my phone these days, so that's fine. Cleaned all the glass on the inside. Cleaned everything with loads of what's it called? Basically alcohol. And it is now working fully. It's clean, it's firing. I have some HP5 to shoot, which I've not loaded yet. Hopefully I'll show you that on camera. Shortly just before filming this video, I woke up this morning and for some reason this button, this knob here, which does the focusing for you, was loose. I have no idea why. So I had to figure that out and take that apart. And again, just kind of working through it logically, just to make sure I didn't damage anything, so I could put it all back together and hopefully get it working. But it would appear to be working now. So let's just run through the camera a little bit. I've bought a 400 ISO film. So when you're loading the camera, or after it's loaded, you set the ISO just here, if it will focus. And so there you go, you can set the focus there. It goes from, let me just turn this round. What we got? It goes from 25, which I'm sure will be very bizarre to some of you, up to 400. So not a huge variety, especially with modern films. So obviously I'll be sticking mine on 400. Then on the sides here you have the shutter speed and the f-stop. And again, if we just turn it Are we focusing? No, I don't think we are. But up here, we have the shutter speed and f-stop, and we just can change that just simply by moving these knobs here. And the more observant of you will see that little yellow thing on the top moving. That's your automatic light meter, which I didn't break. Even though the battery was left in, am I going to be able to get this off? Yes. Even though I left the battery in, it's still working somehow. I got really lucky with this camera. I mean, I've been working on it for a few days, taking it apart, cleaning it, seeing things that are wrong with it, taking it apart again, and it's doing amazingly, considering I really have no idea what I'm up to. The light meter, it only turns on when you lift the top, which is quite a lovely function. So I will try and show this to you. We'll maybe take it outside and we'll have a look through the top. And then I'll try and load some film into it, which it's not too difficult. There's a little button here, a little knob here, and you have an O and a C representing open and close. And when you turn this, it moves this back and forth, which undoes a little clip here. And the back should open. And then once you're inside, you have a little plate here which can go back and forth. Now if you're shooting 120, which I am, you want to slide it up or down, I suppose, depending on which way you're looking at it. And you have 12 exposures there, and then if you're shooting, I think it's 220 this camera takes, and then it'll swap it to 24 exposure. The entire thing is automatic as far as counting goes, so once it's closed, this resets to 0, and then you can just wind it on. So you wind the film through, and then it will stop, then you turn back as far as it will go, and then you can take your first photo, so there you go, and then just wind on again, and there you go, it's ready for the second photo, and so on and so forth. So it stops you from taking double exposures and things like that. Down here we have a little lock, so if you just push that to the right, you can't actually take a photo, so it does protect your film. Now on eBay, these would appear to be worth between 200 to 250 pounds. I don't think they're worth that much. I think due to photography becoming quite fashionable, I think it's pushed all the prices up, and this is just a really attractive camera. But it's definitely worth more than 20 quid, so I'm quite happy with what I managed to get. And I'm quite happy that I managed to fix the damn thing. I really didn't expect to be able to do that. Although, obviously, I've not taken any photos with it yet. When I've screwed the lenses back in, I'm slightly worried that I've screwed them in either too far or not far enough, in which case, whilst the focusing on the top lens might be accurate, the focusing down here might not be. Such is the joy of a twin lens reflex. But time will tell, hence the HP5. So let's take this outside and see if we can have a little look down the viewfinder. Okay, this is really quite difficult to show. You can see my dog just chilling down there on the step. Excuse the state of my garden, it's terrible. And you can see here just by moving this knob on the right, or at least you should be able to see how the focus changes quite nicely. There's something just absolutely gorgeous about looking down through one of these viewfinders. So yeah, it's such an amazing wee camera, and it looks very bizarre on this modern tripod. Let's get back inside and we will see if we can load the film. What do you think, Fox? What do you think? Should we go load some film? Okay, back inside now. Let's see if I can do this at this ridiculous angle. Like I said, it's the first time I've done this, so there's no guarantee this is going to go right. So obviously we want to open this first. And there we go. And in the top here, we already have the old spool from the last person who owned the camera. So obviously we want this to be in a position where we have, again this lighting's terrible, but we have this opening here to take the film. So here we go, HP 5. It's probably not the best thing to do for the first time on camera to show the world. And then we just tear this bit of paper here. We don't need this. That comes off. And then it wants to go in this way. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this little knob here, and as you can see that pulls out to take that spool. So just place this in, being careful not to expose the whole roll, which would be just my luck. Okay, and then we pull this up, and again just take your time, and that wants to go into that slot that I showed you earlier, so just like so. And then what we want to do now is wind it on, and there's going to be a couple of arrows, or there's going to be one arrow, and what we've got is a little red arrow, a little red arrow just here, and that's if it's for 220 film, and you'll get 24 exposures from that. But we're using 120, so we want to go for, again, sorry about that green arrow which just flashed there. So there'll be an arrow on the film that will show up, and we want to match it up with that green arrow. Let's just pop that back in there somehow. Let's wind that on, and we should see the arrow is coming up at any time. There's the arrow. And so we stop there, and then we just close it, and then we close this little latch like so. So that is the film loaded, and we just need to wind it on until it stops. There's a little bit more tension now in that lever, so it's stopped. So we just pull it back like so, tuck it away, and that is the camera ready to shoot. So I'm just going to lock this because I don't want to take a photo just yet, so that will save me from wasting film, and that's ready to go. I hope this has been somewhat informative. I didn't want to go into too much detail because there's quite a few videos about the YASHICA 124G already out there. So I just wanted to have a quick brush over, mainly just because I'm excited about the camera. I've wanted one for a very long time, so to get one at this kind of price and to have fixed it myself just adds a lot more value and a lot more pleasure from the camera. Although it would have been nice to just buy one. A few other features that probably worth pointing out. In the top here, when you look down, you have a little magnifying glass to help you with your focusing, and then you can push the front down like so, and that gives you a, I think it was called the Sports Viewfinder. So it just helps you follow quick moving objects a lot quicker than trying to focus looking down. And then there's a little silver button here, which if you just press that, top pops up, and then you can close it all up again. If you'd like a more in-depth view or look at this camera, I can do. If you'd like another video at the photographs that it took, if it actually does take any decent photographs, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to do that. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was in some way informative. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. I don't release videos that often. If you look through my video collection, you'll see some have about a year, 2 year gaps in between. So if that's your kind of thing, please feel free to have a look. And thank you again. Goodbye.